Alright, here we go with our 500 days in hardcore Minecraft world tour. Make sure you guys subscribe, leave a comment and a like, and support me on Patreon for more exclusive perks. And without further ado, let's begin our 500 day in hardcore Minecraft world tour. So here we go. This is the village where we spawned in the very first 100 days. Spawned just around here. We started by grabbing some of the trees over here, getting some food and things, and then diving down into the mines with this hole right here. After we got some diamonds and things from that, we resurfaced around this area and looted this sunken ship on the beach, and moved over this way to set up shop. But before we head over there, let's check out our gunpowder farm. So this is our AFK spot that we've been using for the past 500 days for our gunpowder farm. Just so all of you know, this is a copy of my 500 day world, so this is not the real thing. This is the farm down here. So inside it we have trapdoors, the roof is made of slabs, we have our snow golems in there, and the creepers spawn in here. These carpets make it so only creepers spawn, and then they run towards these snow golems because they're throwing snowballs at them. They fall down into there to be burned, and let's check out the little storage system down here. So they fall down into here, and all the gunpowder gets filtered into these chests here, and then we can craft up some stuff right here, and we got a little room. So that is our gunpowder farm. Like I was saying before, we moved on from this village and headed this way in search of a pillager outpost and a village, and we very, very quickly found one. This is where the pillager outpost was, and since then we've turned it into a massive raid farm with 6 of these giant spawning platforms for the pillagers to spawn on. These chutes to send them all the way up here at the perfect height for us to AFK, and an amazing sorting system to sort all the ominous bottles that we get. Unfortunately, it doesn't give us things like totems of undying and things. It doesn't work as a raid farm, but it does work as an excellent XP farm and ominous bottle farm. And this is how we got all of our levels that we had. We were once at one point at 600 levels, but now we dropped down to 500. If you want to know why, go ahead and watch my 500 day adventure. So jumping down from here, working over here, we've got our turtle farm. We stored some seagrass in here so that we can breed these up whenever we want. And this serves as a turtle egg farm and also a scoot farm. So what happens is these turtle eggs hatch and the baby turtles run over to this water here, or rather waddle on over to this water here, and they jump in here and fall down here, and when they grow up, like this one, they end up dying and producing some scoots. We haven't done that yet, but that's what will happen. And so moving on from this turtle farm, here are the remains of our old gunpowder farm. We originally tried to build it here, but realized that when we put the snow golems in here, they started to melt and instantly died. So we had to build it over in that area instead, so that it wasn't in a savanna biome and the snow golems would melt. So that is the remains. We put that there as a reminder. So moving on from this old gunpowder farm, this is the heart of the base. We have a beacon right here with all 6 effects right in the center. And over here we have a bone meal farm, which is clogged up and stopped. But it doesn't really matter much because we already have a much faster bone farm with our wither skeleton skull farm in the Nether, which we'll check out later. Here are our Nether warts. This is where we set up our little farm. Not automatic yet, but we'll get to that later. And this is the base of operations. Our very first bone meal farm, converting things and composting them into bone meal. This is our instant nano crop farmer, where we click this lever and plant crops, and it grows super quickly and chops it for us. These are our original furnaces, our bed, crafting table, and brewing stand. And these chests are not automatically sorted, but here is all of our stuff. I want to eventually automatically sort them. And this right here is our lava farm that we have. We have 8 little stations here where they fill up with lava every once in a while and gets us unlimited lava. And here's our original Nether portal. And over here we got a pumpkin farm. So what happens is these grow and observers sense that they've grown, and the pistons hit down and chop it up. And there's a minecart underneath here to gather them all up and put them into these chests down here. And you can see we have a lot of pumpkins from this. And now this is the house that we've built. We unfortunately haven't really used it much, but we have a really cool self-opening iron door with redstone, and a little door over here as well for easy access to the side. We just haven't moved everything in here. We do have a little bed down here with our crafting table, and an upstairs area with our enchanting setup, and I really like the look of it. But that's our house. All these lanterns everywhere. I think it looks nice, but we just haven't gotten much use out of it yet. Going over to here behind the house is our sugarcane farm, one of the first farms we built. And down here we've automatically made it so it crafts paper, sometimes some sugar, but this is our paper slash sugarcane slash sugar farm. Heading over to the side of the house here, we have our first XP farm. What happens is we go up here to the top, we click this button, and a splash potion of infestation hits all of these allays in here just above that fireplace, and then every time they're hit they spawn silverfish, and we go over here and hit them and gather up all the experience that we need. This was our first XP farm before this farm happened. Once we built this farm over here kind of became obsolete. Because this one is so much faster. Going over to the side of this pumpkin farm, we've got this music disc farm, which we only needed to use once because we just needed one music disc for that farm over there. But essentially we trapped a skeleton in here and had it shoot a creeper in here, which drops a music disc. And so that is our one-time use music disc farm. Here, next to all our base operations, is our bamboo farm, and we've used it to automatically craft into planks, so we wouldn't ever have to run out of wood or anything like that. And honestly, most of the projects we've used since have only used this wood, and we haven't had to chop any more trees down, other than the occasional one of these. But this has been a very useful farm indeed. Over here next to the beacon and the base of operations, we've got our cobblestone and stone farm here, where you just mine to your heart's content, and then collect up your spoils in these chests, and you get as much stone and cobblestone as you could possibly need. Going over behind this, we have this iron farm, which has served us very well. We haven't really had to expand it at all. And we go down here to the collection system, and we have an entire chunk of iron right here, and it filters all the way down. As you also know, iron golems drop other things, such as poppies, so we filter those out of the system, and sometimes we get the odd zombie falling in or skeleton falling in, so we sort all those items out so it doesn't get clogged up in this iron farm. So what we have under here is a couple of villagers and a zombie to scare them, and then a iron golem spawns in this water and falls into the middle, gets burned by this lava, and then we get the loot from them, like this. And it doesn't spawn anywhere else over here because we've covered it with non-spawnable path blocks. So they all spawn right where they need to. And this is our very first raid farm. We still use it today because we go down in here and all we have to do is stand here on this chest and kill everything that drops into this boat here. And we get all their drops right here. Very, very useful, very nice farm. We also have another beacon set up here just so that it covers more of our base. And one right here. And this right here is our long villager trader hall. These pods aren't being used, but we have one cleric, a couple of toolsmiths to trade iron for emeralds, and farmers to trade carrots and pumpkins. As you can see, we can have one pumpkin for one emerald, so it's a very nice trade. That's why we have our pumpkin farm all the way over there. And as you can see above us, we have a carrot farm with 1, 2, 3, like 2.5 double chests full of carrots already. This is what it looks like up top. We got villagers who farm up all these carrots, and then when they're ready, they go over here and throw the carrots to this guy, and he can't pick them up. They just fall right into these hoppers and down into the system, and we collect all the carrots. So we have an infinite carrot farm right there, which is really nice. Then we have a little system that connects we have a railway system that connects everything over here, and oh my gosh, way too many villagers in here. But this is our villager breeder, and when we go down here, when there is a minecart in here, you can press this dispenser and it picks up a villager and sends them wherever we have connected the railway system up to. And so these people here gather up the carrots and breed, and then the babies jump over here and fall into the water and grow up, and then we're able to use these villagers for any purpose we need. We have also a little setup here where we've gotten a villager with mending, for example, and other things, and a cartographer with the Trial Explorer map, and this is how we've been trying to get the mace. Haven't been able to yet, but we have done our best. And this is essentially our original trading post, and that's our upgraded new one. The difference is this one does not have a zombie in the back to make their prices go lower, whereas this one does. In the back of here, we have a name tagged zombie named Zombie Boy. Let's see if we can talk to him for a sec. And there he is. Zombie Boy, hello, hello. And this is all done next to this village we found. Perfect setup, a village right next to a pillager outpost. So we had a really good start for this hardcore world. And over here you can see this boat just parked here. This is what we used to use before Elytra. We used to just boat across trying to get things done and stuff, but we left that there kind of as a little memory of what we used to have to do. Now this is our spruce tree little forest here. We bought 4 saplings off of the wandering trader and used it to make many more. And I think it just looks really cool, but it's also a good source of wood, so 2 birds and 1 stone. And for the final thing in the overworld, this is our castle that we have built. Those are the walls. This is the front wall. You can see we have a beacon here, as well as a pile of gold and a suspicious lava waterfall with a beacon coming out of this mountain. So if we travel into this, what we find is that we have a massive treasure room just tucked away right here. Got a whole bunch of gold here. We're gonna add more treasures to it as we go along, but for right now we have a treasure room full of gold, even some in the water here. Alright, that's the last thing in the overworld. Let's head on into the Nether to see what we've got. So this Nether portal links us up to the Nether roof, which is amazing. We can use this to travel so far. And this right here, we've said Wither, tells us that we have our Wither skeleton skull farm down this way. But this right here is actually our gold farm. So this is how we have so much gold in our world already. We have 34 spawning platforms with all these piglin here. And we just AFK up there, and it all gets dumped into the overworld, which I'll show you later. But this gold farm here took forever to build, all these 34 platforms. But boy, was it worth it. Woo, look at that. So we AFK up there at the top, and then we have to AFK in the overworld a bit as well for all the stuff to sort out. And I'll show you where that is later on, but I'm going to show you where our Wither skeleton skull farm is too, so that you can take a look at that as well. Alright, so this is the spot here. That's the actual farm with the killing chamber. I'll show you that in a second. First I'll show you what the actual farm in the Nether Fortress looks like. So building this farm down here was definitely the most risky thing I've ever done in this world. Very, very tough to do. But there it is. See, there's already blazes firing at me because they can see me. But that right there is the spawning platform for that farm, our Wither skeleton skull farm. Oh, see, he hit me already. Let's take off. There it is. Got all these walls, got the portal up there. So all the Wither skeletons spawn in there, and then they get taken into that portal, which takes them to the killing chamber, which I'll show you right now. So let's get there. All right, so this is the hole that we came out of, and that's where we go for our farm, the actual farm in the Nether Fortress. This is the killing chamber up here. Made entirely out of glass, so it's spawn proof. And we have here the place where all the Wither skeleton skulls filter into. I took them all already, but we also have some bones and blaze rods, and this one filters down into like coal blocks. We have almost an entire double chest full of coal blocks as well. It's a little bit of a mess here, but essentially you just sit here and AFK and keep taking these guys out, and all the stuff filters down into those chests down here, and we get stuff like our Wither skeleton skulls popping into here, and everything else filters around. This took a while to build as well. Got another dispensing system, gets rid of all our bones. There were way too many. As you can see, we have a whole bunch of bone blocks and bones in these chests and bone meal and stuff, and it just got to be way too much. But this is what the Wither skeleton skull farm looks like. We get about 90 Wither skeleton skulls an hour, which is really, really nice and really effective. We get a whole bunch of bones, coal, Wither skeleton skulls. Really, really nice. There's also an overworld part, but I have no idea where that is, honestly, and it's not very exciting. But essentially it looks like this, and it makes it so that the Wither skeleton skulls don't take up mob cap and can be pushed around and filter out into this kill chamber right here. So what I do is I take these Wither skeleton skulls that I got, and I take it to my Nether Star farm in the end. So I'm going to show you that in a second, but first I want to show you a little bit more about that gold farm in the overworld and just how that works as well. And before we do that, just a little bit about this redstone, a little bit about the history of it. We were trying to craft bones into bone meal to turn them into bone blocks, because I thought you could turn bone blocks back into bones, but you can't, so it was a complete waste. Anyway, essentially it was going too fast right here, and we needed to make a timer to make it go slower, and it just ended up becoming a huge mess and things, and everything got clogged up. And so instead we stored some of the bones, and then we just dispose of the rest of them so it doesn't clog up the whole machine, and it works a lot better. So let's go back to that gold farm and show you what happens in the overworld with it. Alright, here we go, back at the gold farm. Let's head over to the overworld and show you a little bit about how it works. Alright, here we go. So we spawn in these trees here, and we jump on over, fly over to here, and this is the kill chamber for the gold farm. You can see the nether portal there, and then they all drop into here onto these carpeted hoppers, and then all their spoils filter into these chests and all the way down into here, and then they filter from nuggets, into ingots, and then into blocks down here, and we get our blocks of gold. We have a deposit right there and a deposit right here of blocks of gold. So that's how that works. It takes a while for it to filter out. The bottleneck is that it just takes too long for these to filter because there's not many of these sorting systems. So we got to build more sorting systems for it to be more efficient, but it's still not bad at all. So now let's go ahead and show you the Nether Star farm, which is in the end. So let's head over there. And I forgot to mention, but the way we get into the end is actually through this nifty little pillar we built up to tell us where to go. And it's literally so close to where we are. We got so lucky that we literally just fall into here and we fall straight into the room with the portal. So it's really nice and fast and easy. Let's jump in. Let's show you the Nether Star farm. So what happens is we built it underneath this portal here to make use of this bedrock. You dive into here, and this is where all the nether stars get collected into, and we put all our soul sand into here, which filters into this dropper here, and we sit in this minecart and flick this lever, and it takes us back and forth, and we can AFK and hold FT and 3, and it will just plant down all our soul sand and make a wither, spawn a wither right here, and the wither will die because of these 24 minecarts here with entity cramming, and then it will die, and then this will clear up once it spawns another wither, and we'll place down the soul sand again, and the nether star will drop into that chest over there. And that's how it works. Pretty nice. So that is how we have so many beacons in our world. And that is all that's in the end here. So let's head back into the overworld. There we go. And with that, that's pretty much all I had to show you, except for over here was our first trial chambers that we found. If we just dive down into here, we can see this massive hole that takes us down in the trial chambers. I think I have water down here, so it's safe to... There we go. As you can see, it takes us straight into this trial chambers with this spawner. I'm gonna get out of here though, because it's a little bit dangerous. But yeah, that is where our first trial chambers was. We didn't end up getting the mace yet, but we will definitely get to that in our next videos. And with that, that is our 500-day tour. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, support me on Patreon, and leave a comment. Thanks. See you guys in the next one.